to talk about.
You brought up Joe Budden, so I'll stick on that. You see, first, how did you feel about Drake's album? There's a lot of talk about it, and before we get to the Joe Budden beef, how about the album?
I'd say it's his best album since Scorpion. I feel like Drake has so many really, really, really good albums. I think some would say some classics. I think Nothing Was the Same and Take Care were two classics back to back. With that being said, I don't think he's gotten to that point. But I also feel like it's really difficult for artists to make you feel that same way every single time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm looking for too. Like the way it made me feel, like when people say they want the old Drake or the old Kanye or the old Wayne, like I just want that old feeling that I got from the anticipation of the album being made. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like when I remember in 2013 when the build up to Drake's album in the summer. And like after Take Care, I remember when Take Care came out, and that was it's my freshman year, and I think it could have been my freshman fall.
13, right?
Yeah, no, 11.
Oh,
2011 that came out.
That.
I was a freshman in high school, and I remember when it came out. And that was when New Music Fridays didn't exist. So music was just coming out when it came out. Like it was either a Thursday, it was a Friday, it was a Monday, it was whatever the album date was.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they had metrics and analytics to learn when that was going on too. But I'll never forget when Pandora existed, and in the light in which Pandora was. Like Pandora was Spotify before Spotify, and we listened to it in. I forget our teacher's name, but she was our computer teacher. And we were in computer class. It was me. Shout out to EP. Shout out to Alicia. Yep. Yeah, it was like 5 of us in a row, in your computer class. And you're sitting there. I'll never forget it because like that was the feeling I was supposed to get. We knew Thank Me Later was good, but we knew where Drake was, that was just an unbelievable album for us at the time, where music was. And then Take Care comes out, and we're in computer class, and it drops. And that was the feeling we got at the moment, which was like, yo, Drake's the biggest thing for us right now. How I would say like how Uzi makes people feel. Like the younger kids, how Uzi makes them feel. How Travis makes the younger kids feel when he drops. That feeling is so anticipated.
Yeah.
But they don't have it the same way because music's dropping at the same time all the time. Mm-hmm. So I just wish it made me feel that way again.
Right.
When Meek dropped the second Dream Chasers, that was at 2:00, and it crashed that Piff, and we were in school. We were getting ready to go to the bus, and everybody had it before 2:00 at like 1:58, and he crashed the Dat Piff website. And so you couldn't download it right away. And so you had to go home, you had to wait, you had to get onto the bus. Everybody's saying, yo, did you hear Dream Chasers 2? Did you hear Dream Chasers 2? It was crazy. Like that feeling was like a euphoric thing. Like everybody who was around you felt the same way.
Yeah.
And so now the Drake drop, fast forward to today, the album, I was excited for Drake music, but the music itself didn't give me the same feel that I wanted, right? Like, and it was still great. Like, there's probably like 6 or 7 songs, at least, that I go back to in certain settings, right? Like, I heard a couple things out this past weekend that I was like, okay, this is good. Like, this works in this area. And then there's some that I was, you wake up, you get on the drive in the morning, and you hear that. That was good, too. And you hear it during, when I'm in the facility, I'm doing lessons. I put things on for the kids that they like. And so there's songs on here that I'm going to always listen to in certain areas, but as a body of work, I thought that it was better than Scorpion, but like it was as good as it was the best album he's had since that time, but in between those albums, there's been good moments. There's been really good moments, but it wasn't a full body of work that was like, I can take this entire thing, play it, no skips.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of where he's at in music right now, I think. I think it's a different album. I think it's a different time.
Right.
Different time of music. It's a young sound, and but I totally understand people who say that he didn't put his best foot forward in his musical ability. I think that there was some songs that he could have potentially taken off, and that's fine. Like he's also not. I don't think he needs to be responsible for how the bar in music every single time when he was on top. He's been on top for about a decade and a half. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to just like maintain that level of dominance. Like,
Yeah.
so the fact that he even maintained it for this long, he can have an album that's just above average, not excellent or extraordinary. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, almost in every field you have a prime in
Yeah.
whatever you do, and I think we might have saw Drake's prime unless he comes back in the next few years with something. But I think
Well,
he said-
people who are one of one have that ability to do it.
yeah,
Right. And it's different in like, it's not like sports where it's like you age in dog years, right? Where that prime for George St. Pierre was his between the ages of like 27 to like 36. And then and he still won fights after those that were good, but there's chinks in the armor. It's
Yeah.
not as simple, right? Like it's a lot more challenging to win after that prime, but you can still do it.
yeah. It's interesting. I didn't even listen to the full album. I listened to bits and pieces of
Okay.
songs because Drake's just not my guy. He's
Yeah.
not. I'd go towards Lil Wayne more than I go towards Drake if we're talking about those types of people. And Lil Wayne's last mixtape, I probably listened to like 4 or 5 times through.
Okay.
He's my guy, so I stick with him. I'll go listen to Drake's album all the way through and then give my opinion maybe. But it sounds like it was an above average album.
Yeah, there's some really good music on there, and he's always. It's never gonna not be high quality, but because he just does. He doesn't. I think he's one of those people who's like inept at making bad music. Like he's not good at making bad music.
Yeah.
Like there's some people who just naturally don't have the ability to make high level music, and their best is somebody's like average.
Yeah.
But he's so excellent at making sounds and pushing it in a way where it's always going to be the next thing, which is why I think people were upset, because he kind of fell into a sound and a melodic thing that the new age of rappers and artists are doing now, which I can appreciate him being able to dive back and forth and create that versatility. But like, if Drake decided that he wanted to get on boom bap beats, if he decided he wanted to make rock music right now, that would be the thing. That would be what everybody does.
Yeah.
And somebody would, and it would start to gravitate toward other people. Like Uzi trying to make rock music didn't resonate with the masses, but if Drake tried, I'm not saying it would be great. I'm not saying that I would even enjoy it, but it would move the sound. Like he would say, okay, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Right? And he had the ability to start doing that, and I think that maybe he does. I think he did that with the dance album with Honestly Nevermind, which I love that project. I didn't like it in the beginning. I like it now. I like it a lot now. And that's kind of where he is. He's kind of a mad genius with that, where he can figure out that you're not going to necessarily love this right now, but you're going to love it later. So I think that there's people who are going to love this album later.
Age like fine wine.
Yeah, you're going
That
to,
was-
and hopefully. I mean, he's got a lot of projects that have aged really, really well, and there's some projects that in today's era of how much music comes out, it hasn't really aged to the way that you go back and listen to the full project again. Like, there's times where if I get on like a 3 to 5 hour trek somewhere, like I'll listen to a full album.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm putting things into a playlist or I'm listening to 3 or 4 songs. I personally like to listen to albums from front to back to pick the songs that I like, to then put it into more songs that I like.
Yeah.
So,
Last album I think aged like fine wine was Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I remember when it came out, because I was heavy on Kendrick at the time, and it was general public was not a fan of the album. Like across the board, it seemed like nobody liked it. And then like a month or 2 went by and everybody loved it.
yeah.
But that's one of my favorites recently that I've been listening to and have been listening to. But yeah, the great artists can make music age like fine
They
wine.
do. No, they do. And they're very good at it. And they create a way that makes it so much replay value, I think you get when you listen to certain artists. And it's great that he has that replay value, that it's like and that's the it in music. Like some people make great music. There's a lot of people who make really good music, but the amount of replay value that you get is tough. And especially depending on, in Drake, you can play in so many different moods and feelings and different timing,
Yeah.
right? The timing of his music Play it in the car, play it in the shower, play it with your girl, play it with your friends, play it at a club. Like, it is all very versatile, and it's not easy to be able to make that type of music, which is why he's like the Michael Jackson of what we have now.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's special, but you know, I think I would have wanted more in certain areas, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with what I got. And if you tell me that Drake didn't make any more music, like, I'm good. Like, I'd be good with the amount of songs that I have now. And he's going to keep making music, and I think he's
Yeah.
going to keep pushing the bar. I think he's a guy who's pretty aware of what people are saying and how the culture moves. So, like, I think he's probably heard this stuff, and he's probably going to say, like, all right, I'm gonna lay low for a couple of years, and then when I come back, I'm gonna drop
a banger.
bomb. I'm gonna drop
Yeah.
a bomb on you.